Now we live.
Hell
Up
yeah.
and rocking. My dog, Jono. What's up, bro?
Chilling. How are you?
Man, I'm coolin'. It's been a long day, long week, long couple weeks, man.
Hell yeah.
But I'm grateful to be here, bro, because we've been talking about this shit for a minute.
It's been a long time.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
I got no complaints.
Good, man. Yo, I'm ready for this conversation. I know we met 2-3 years ago?
Something like that.
Salute to my guy, Uzzle. I don't know where you are, but I went to a meeting. I wasn't a big AA guy. I met this gentleman. We started talking on the phone about books and knowledge, music. It's like a lot of similarities that we shared.
Yes.
So I don't ever think we got into either of our stories. So it's going to be like a cool learning experience for myself, for you, and to anybody that tunes into this here podcast. I think this is episode 47.
Hell yeah.
I believe. So we ready to rock this shit, man. Let me do my little jingle and let's get moving. Y'all know the vibes. Redeem Yourself podcast is back. I thought we had this shit straight. A little bit of technical difficulties, but it is what it is. One thing recovery has taught me, we gonna figure shit out.
Damn right.
Always. We built for this shit. You ready to ride, bro?
I think so.
Let's fucking get it.
Let's do it.
Man, you're a musician.
Yes.
And a hip-hop head. What do you think about that, man?
What, the beat?
Yeah.
I think it's a fire-ass beat. I was drumming along to it when y'all were fixing the camera.
Salute.
Yeah.
Salute,
Who made
salute.
that damn thing?
My homeboy Aaron. Salute, Aaron.
Hell yeah. No, it's fire.
Yeah, man, he put together a nice little jingle for me, man.
It's very nice.
I open up the podcast. Appreciate that,
Hell
man.
yeah.
I like to get feedback, you know what I'm saying? It's feedback.
Damn
Positive
right.
feedback. Well, bro, how I get started on many of these things you've had the pleasure of listening to. But I like to make sure my guests are straight first. So we do our check-ins. See how your week has been, anything you want to share. Like, what's up with you, man? Like, how are you? Like, for real, how are you? Not you know how you go in passing and you say, hey, what's up, man? How are you? Like, good, how are you? And you keep moving.
Yeah.
Not that. Like, how are you?
No, life is good.
Right.
It's not easy, but it's good. But I mean, that's the whole point of what we're talking about, right? It's like the delusion of life ever being easy was something that kept me drunk forever. So what I get to do these days is actually get through life in an appropriate manner, and find it to be very rewarding. Mm-hmm. So even though life isn't perfect, I've had a good ass week, man. I've been making music with my friends,
Hell yeah.
working on sobriety shit, going to meetings, working a little bit. Mm-hmm. I got no problems, man.
That's what's up, man.
No real ones, no real complaints. How about you?
That sounds like a beautiful life.
It's not bad.
Yeah, bro. I find myself, man. I don't have many complaints either. Like what I could complain about is not a complaint because I'm still grateful for my time. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, life has been pretty good, man. Healthy family, working like crazy. Got my first invite to do a speaking engagement next week, which I think is dope because it's always been like a passion of mine. Because I too at one point in time did music, and I enjoyed the thrill of being on stage, like seeing the crowd move. But what happened, I found recovery, and we spoke before. I didn't do the meetings. My last show, I went to New York and performed in front of. Was it like Wu-Tang Management or something?
Hell
like some
yeah.
label in New York at Mr. Cheek's nightclub.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a Lost Boys fan. I love the Lost Boys, yeah.
So it's dope, bro. Not on that. No, I do have video. No, it's on my old computer. I had a video of him fucking dancing crazy in this club, man. It was a wild-ass night. But what happened ultimately after I performed, as you know, man, most performances are in bars. I was by myself. I think I was 6 months sober. No, maybe 4 months sober at the time. And I remember sitting in the bar. It was like 2:30 in the morning. New York's wild. Don't sleep. You know what I'm saying? And I was looking around, and I was like, man, I can't keep doing this. Like, because the thought all night was like, I can drink just one. Just one. And that shit invaded me. So I'm like, nah, like I can't do this. And I got scared. And from that moment, I don't think I recorded like 1 or 2 songs, but I never really stepped back out there. And that shit low-key probably still bothers me. That's why I'm talking about it now, man. That was a good little therapy session.
Hell yeah.
Hey. But man, now it's about you. So, as I'm going to sip a little bit of this cold brew real quick.
Hell yeah. This is some good-ass cold brew, too.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell they're doing to the cold brew is top-notch.
Yeah, salute to the gather for the cold brew.
Yeah.
But I'm glad y'all brought it back, because the last 2 weeks I was pissed. Like,
No cold brew?
Bro.
That's fucked up.
I would come up here solely looking for the tap to the cold brew. And we popped in here one night and it was gone. And all day I was like, oh man, I just can't wait. I need the coffee so we can get through this interview. And we walked in this joint. I said, bruh, it's gone. Yeah, we had to make hot coffee. So salute. Thank you for bringing it back.
Hell yeah.
Now on to you, bro. It's just simple questions, man. So whatever you comfortable sharing, cool. If you're not, cut that shit off. But the first question I ask every single guest, how was life for you growing up, bro?
It's chill. I mean, like, I was a real quiet kid, real easygoing. You know, my dad always jokes around I was like an angel till I was 16. Then everything went to shit.
Bro, weren't we all, man?
But no, it was like, you know, I just grew up in Northern Virginia, normal, like, suburban upbringing, I guess you would say. Went to high school, played hockey. I liked skateboarding. Like,
what part of Nova?
Burke. Right at the border of Springfield and Burke.
Okay.
But
I'm not really familiar, but Nova's dope.
There's nothing memorable about where I was from. It's like houses and a couple shopping centers.
That's it.
Legit.
So
like,
it's not
there's a reason I don't go back there often. Yeah.
Yo, somebody else said that about Nova. That was Taylor. Yeah, Taylor said that about Nova. I was like, yo, Nova's dope. She's like, nah. Not my side of Nova.
People who weren't from there, I think, like, enjoy certain things about it. But, like, you know, speaking of recovery and everything, it gets to a point where, like, the only thing to do was, like, skateboard when it was light out and then drunk drive all night.
That sounds
That
awful.
was like, no, it was great. It was great while it lasted. Until it wasn't. That's what we say. But no, for the most part, I mean, like, nothing crazy. I mean, I actually found some little documents my mom sent me from, like, the first time I ever got like a mental evaluation, and and in there it was like, you know, no history of depression, no history of anxiety, no history of anything. And I was like, when the hell was that? Like, I don't remember that being part of my life, but yeah, it was pretty normal. I would say, whatever normal means, you know, but once things started to get a little strange, you know, I talk about this as being like the first time I remember things feeling a little bit off was I was like sitting on like a beanbag chair with my headphones on, listening to music, which was something I loved to do. And I had this thought that was just like, what's the point? And I was like confused by it, because I think up until then in my life, you know, let's say I was 14 or 15 at the time.
Bet.
It was like, oh, I'm just kind of sitting here listening to music, doing my thing. Like, it didn't matter. I was chilling, like, whatever. And for some reason at that point, it was no longer okay. And starting there, I think that's when things started to, I hate to even say like go downhill, but I started to have issues that maybe were there all along.
Like 13, 14.
But they started coming out a little bit one by one. And then, you know, you even look back further to when things maybe weren't necessarily getting as messy, but it's like, you know, even with things like soda, my mom would let me have like one cup of soda, and then I'd be like scheming to like get the rest of the bottle. And I'm like 6, you know what I mean? So there's like, I've always had like little tics about me.
Bro.
But that's the first time I remember having like depressed alcoholic ways of thinking that were like very, very, what's the word I'm looking
present.
for? Yeah, very, very, like starting to take over, just being able to enjoy my life as a normal person.
And I think what I enjoy about these conversations is that damn near everybody I've interviewed, including myself, that age was like a critical, pivotal point. You know, in hindsight, 2020 is wild that we can look back and pinpoint exactly what it was that kind of took over before alcohol or drugs, you know what I'm saying, like stepped into play.
Yeah.
Right? It started with a thought. Like mine was, I got dumped here from Florida. And me and my pops, we were talking about this the other day. I was, you know, kicking it with him. And he was like, man, I thought that, you know, all the love and community that you had in Florida, it didn't even cross my mind that I was ripping you away from that. So when I came here, I don't have any other family here. It was just me. You know what I'm saying? Like, Florida and Virginia is vastly different, especially at 13. So I went from a big-ass family, a bunch of friends, always something to do, to like, man, I don't know nothing about nothing. And I always had a problem fitting in. So that, like, 13 was when it started for me as well. But
Well, the problem fitting in, I think to a certain extent, was always around like being really shy and everything like that. But and I think that's one of the things that eventually I would say my alcoholism and addiction helped with in a lot of ways. But you know, speaking of, you know, I referred to my childhood as normal earlier, but it's like, it's funny to even say that when like my whole life I haven't really felt like I quite fit in. And it's almost like what I was told was supposed to be normal when really inside of my head, things weren't always quite right. And I remember I was listening to this speaker meeting. It's on YouTube with Anthony Hopkins, the actor, right? Okay. And he said something along the lines, it's been a couple years since I've listened to it, but it's something along the lines that of his whole life he felt like he like lived on like an island by himself, but he had a pair of binoculars that could let him tap into the rest of the world, but the whole time he was alone. Bro. And everything was like, he was like by himself, but he knew what was going on. I could see what's going on, but something was always just a little off.
That's how I've always felt, bro.
Me too.
Like if anybody described what it felt like, and I think I've said this before, like I could be in a room full of people, but I always felt alone. And what I found in my recovery, that desire to fit in was what was wrong with me, because I found that I was never designed to fit in. You know, that was a box that I was placing myself in. I was designed to stand out, you know, and that's where the removing of the fear, me being to step up and pursue things that people may be like, why are you wasting your time doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, this is my life. You know, like I'm cool with however this shakes out. You feel me? And that part of it didn't come till years later. But I like most of my life was that, like trying to figure out how to pull me out of me. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. That shit sounds.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, that's the issue. You know, we can keep going with the example I gave, sitting on a beanbag chair listening to music, which is still one of my favorite things to do. And I was saying, what's the point? Okay, so like one of the things I've had to understand about myself, whether it be during active addiction or since then, is like I'm not okay with just whatever. It has to be excess. Now, what kind of excess am I going to choose? And one of the things I tell a lot of other addicts and alcoholics is like, yeah, it really sucks that you've been like chosen as destined for greatness. It's a lot of pressure. That's why you're so fucked up. It's because it's a lot of fucking pressure. What that greatness is, it's not always like, you know, fame and riches and everything. It's like, but you have a reason to be here.
Exactly.
And you know that. And you've always known that. And that's what leads us into these places. Like, and that's a thing I was talking about with some people last night, is it's like the same part of me that tries to kill me is also my greatest gift. And I told a story.
Said. That's a bar.
Oh, it's a thing. I mean, it is. It's like the way I behave in the recovery world, music world, whatever it is, it's all just a bunch of basically like the same part of my brain that gets me so drunk, got me so good at drinking, is what allows me to behave how I do over there.
That's what's up.
But one of the things I was, you know, there's a story I like to tell. When I was about like a year sober, one of the first kids I worked with, you know, just like trying to help him. I think I had enough time to finally like maybe like actually help somebody. And this kid would wake up with no money every day and somehow do heroin all day and then go to bed, wake up the next day with no money, and then somehow was just doing heroin all day. And I was like, if you applied that to literally anything at all that was worthwhile, you would be a very, very like, powerful man. You know, you could do anything you wanted. And for some reason, I think it has to do with a lot of fear. It has to do with a lot of maybe experiences in the past, childhood stuff, whatever it may be, that doesn't allow us to see us that way. It's the self-worth thing. You know, I, for my whole life, was told that I was very capable, but I didn't believe it. And then also with what you were talking about, like the things that I wanted to do, weren't necessarily always supported. People wouldn't see my vision. They wanted me to fit into their vision. And you know, I'm talking about the childhood. I'm not trying to badmouth my dad, but he was a very, very strict man. And
mine too, bro.
And there's a lot of good that came from that. But there have been things where maybe me and him didn't see eye to eye. And I allowed that to affect me more than maybe the average person would.
Bro, I wouldn't even say the average person, because he shares that. I share that. You know what I'm saying? And I've been like super open talking about it. And I don't even want to take the spotlight because I want to get back onto your story. But we definitely can rap about that as well because that is a critical part because the same people that told me they love me daily wouldn't show up to what I loved to do. And it really drove me crazy because I'm like, well, this makes me happy. Like, why aren't you happy that, I'm performing at the National? Like, why can't you drive 20 minutes in the city and just say hi? You know what I'm saying? Like, or something. And it really used to get to me because from a young age, it was like I wasn't good enough. So I spent time trying to please. And then finally at 27, I'm like, nah, like I got to figure this out for me because I clearly can't make anybody else happy, trying to fit into what you view my life as. You know what I'm saying? And it took a while to get to that point. I'm glad I did. And me and my family have since like cleared all of that up. I was able to voice, you know what I mean, like what bothered me and such. And now they were understanding. So it was a way to get closure to it. But you spoke about the pivotal moment, 13, 14, sitting on the beanbag head. What was playing in the headphones?
If I had to guess, it would be the Source Hip Hop Hits Volume 1.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Where was that? Because
that was
the go-to?
It was. I just have a feeling because, I didn't have much music to choose from back then. There wasn't any streaming sites, and I remember just listening to that album around that time period over and over. It's stacked. If you haven't gone and listened to that recently, it's a nice collection.
Now I'm gonna have to go check that out. I don't think I've heard. You said the Source Volume 1.
Yeah,
right,
it's got Triumph, Whatever Man, Hey, Crucial Conflict,
okay.
I'll Be, Foxy, and Jay-Z. It's stacked, dude. But
where the hell is my phone? Oh, it's sitting in my pocket. Let me drop that on there now, so I don't forget.
I want to go back to the dad thing real quick, because like I said, I don't want to badmouth my dad. Because my dad, turns out, after all these years, my dad's actually a pretty good guy.
No doubt.
And one of the things that I had to learn through this process was that I spent my whole life wishing he would accept me for who I am, and I never stopped for 1 second to accept him for who he was, which was a tough one to accept.
Yo.
And then the other thing, one of the other things was when it came down to cleaning my life up, I'd blamed so much about how much pain I was in by the time I had to sober up. I blamed so much of that on him, but it was things that he showed me that got me out of it. Taking responsibility for myself, standing up for myself, being strong. These were all things he instilled in me. Might have been, at the time, painful to learn, but these were all lessons that eventually, in some ways, saved my life, along with other things.
Isn't that wild?
And then here's another thing, is I'm 4 months sober, having a blowout with my dad about things that I claim ways he's done me wrong. When I was 17 years old, I'm 34, screaming at him. He's sitting there like, what the hell is this guy talking about? And one of the things I had to learn is, even though some of those things that I was angry about were valid, one of the things that I had to learn was it was no longer his fault when I carried that around with me for 17 years and tried to drink myself to death over that and other things. That's my problem at that point. And I can't. It's not fair for me to put that on somebody else. I did that, and that was another tough one to learn. We talk about resentments a lot in recovery, and one of the things I had to learn is, like, even if someone's done something to me completely unprovoked, if I allow that to affect the way I treat myself and others for the next 10 years after it happened, then that's my problem, and I should probably do something about that, because that's no longer the other person. That's me.
Bro, you just summed up my whole life and put everything in perspective, bro. Like that.
Well, it's not even about like oh, like I gotta hold this motherfucker accountable. It's like, no, like I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind. And also, it's like, I know I'm expecting other people to be perfect. I'm the one in recovery because I'm a fucking alcoholic, crazy person, and I can't accept that other people aren't perfect.
Dude,
shut the fuck up.
This guy has done the work.
Get the fuck out of here. So with all that being said, I love the fact that now, through doing hard work, being honest, working through things, me and my dad have a great relationship, and we talk all the time. He's recovering from his second knee surgery of the winter because he's a tough motherfucker and he wants to get back out on the goddamn golf course. Good for him, because he's retired and he fucking earned it.
Hey,
and you know what else is dope?
Pops.
As he's 72 years old, and he told me, he said, as far as I'm concerned, I'm still young, so I need my knees to fucking work. And I said, my man, So yeah,
no doubt.
But you know, like I said, I don't like sounding like I'm bashing my dad because I don't think it's fair to. But I think the reason I'm open about that experience, and he's fully aware that that's a thing. But the reason I share that is because so many other men in recovery have such a similar experience, and we I think we have trouble stepping up to like whatever expectations that we believe these people put on us. And really, for me to get out from under these imagined expectations, I found out eventually it's like these aren't even actually his expectations. He just wants me to like not be dead and like support myself.
To do great. So it's like, and not fuck it all up.
Once I started realizing a lot of this was just in my head and being honest about what I actually wanted to do, who I actually am, and anything else that's connected to that, not just with him but with myself, like. No one gives a shit. Like, no one cares.
No.
And I'm just out here doing my thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, my days are great. You know, like, who cares? I don't fucking care. Yeah. But
you designed your life,
time.
And that's beautiful, bro. It does take time, man. It does take time. And you know what I'm saying? So the thought happened. You're in the beanbag. The Source Volume 1 is playing. The thought enters your mind. What happens next to a young Jono?
Not a whole lot. I just remember starting to get a little more like
rebellious and shit.
Not quite yet.
Yeah, fuck you, Dad.
Not quite yet. But like a little more hopeless, a little more sad, maybe. And that's why it was funny when I saw that the like mental report about me as however old I was. It was like no history of depression, anxiety. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Like holy shit, it's been so long.
Yeah.
So. Things kind of go downhill, I guess. I start drinking a little, smoking a little weed, but I'm still pretty much a good kid. When things really got crazy was when I moved to Richmond. And I was
always Richmond.
2002, Richmond, Virginia.
Don't move to Richmond.
Holy shit! I was like, holy shit! I can literally do whatever I want here.
And that was in college.
This place is so crazy. Yeah. So I moved here. I started playing hockey for VCU. Yes, they do have a hockey team, and we were really good. We went to nationals that year.
That's what's up. Salute VCU.
Yeah, came down here and started going absolutely fucking crazy. And you know, we were talking about earlier with the being shy, anxiety, things like that. When I moved here, not only did I just start drinking a lot and everything, but it allowed me to become a part of something, even though it was like the party scene around here, the hockey team, whatever it was. We were doing a lot of drinking and everything. But through that, I built some social skills. I made some friends. I bopped around a new town. I had to get outside of my little bubble.
Zone. Yeah.
And I had a lot of fun, and for a long time, I was a really, really fun guy to drink with. Like, and I mean, it was just a fucking blast. There's no way I could. There's no way I could explain it all. And
there's a riot
in the time we have.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing, I think the important part of that is not just the war stories and the funny stories that come with that era, but making it known that like this did come to an end. Like when I graduated from school. You know, last year of college was just a party. It was a blast. We were playing hockey. We were killing it. Like I was the fucking man. And then all of a sudden I graduate and I've got a job that I can't fucking stand. And all the glory is gone. All right. So this is the first time in my life where I start looking back.
Damn, homie.
I start looking back though. I need the glory of last year.
Yeah.
But I'm stuck at this fucking desk job. So now I'm just like hungover every day I'm in here. I hate it. I don't want to do any fucking work. And now for the first time in a long time, life is extremely empty.
Right, you're feeling lost.
Then I'm trying to find the past, which is a huge problem. I'm trying to find the past rather than, you know, where I'm at today. It's like I'm always looking forward.
Right.
To the, or, you know, present with the intentions of moving forward, excuse me. But I started doing that. And there's certain times throughout my life where these habits that I gained in the drinking and drugging world would work, and then they'd start failing. And I wouldn't, especially when we really hit the end, the rock bottom part. That was like probably let's say a 3-year process, and I had no clue what was happening to me. Can't be the drinking. The drinking's always saved me from this.
Right.
What's going on? Turns out it was the drinking.
Amazing how we come to that conclusion finally. Like, maybe that was the issue.
But I was going, I was like, I need to go back to school and get a master's in business. I need to get a different job. I need to like
the solutions.
Like I would be able to,
but it's not alcohol.
I wouldn't be able to pull any of this off, mind you, because I'm like 30 drinks deep while I'm coming up with all this shit, just absolutely obliterated at work. Yeah, it's a nice time, and I'm just coming up with all this shit. At the same time, I'm going to see a therapist, paying out of pocket to go see a therapist who I still go see. Same, he's a good guy, but I'm paying out of pocket at the time to go in there and complain about all these problems I have. But I would never mention to him how much I drank or that I use drugs. So he's in here trying to help me, figure out the issues I'm having at work or whatever, and I'm basically paying $100 a week to lie to this man.
Damn it.
And this is the type of shit we do. And I'm in there because of the alcoholic thinking and all the fucking bullshit. I'm in here thinking I'm actually helping something when really I'm just paying this man to lie to him and then asking him to solve problems that he has no understanding of.
Yeah, bro, he probably gave you every tool necessary. You just come in there that didn't work, but never once said, yo, I got fucked up for 5 days in a row.
Not once, because that's the other thing.
God damn.
You got to understand, I got sent to IOPs and AA and everything when I was 19, and then again when I was 21 to 22 or 23.
Yeah, well, you kind of skipped all of that, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. See, this is the thing. When I start talking about this shit, I'm going to be all over the place. I hope this makes sense by the end.
All right.
But one thing I learned was that when I was doing these classes and these meetings, then I started realizing what the maybe the red flags were, signs that I wasn't alcoholic. So it's all right, we got to avoid this at all costs. These are the things that these guys in the AA meeting are doing when they found out that's when they were an alcoholic. I got to stay as far away from that as possible. No red flags from this guy. You know what I'm saying? We're going to keep this all under wraps. But that's the manipulation of the alcoholic mind. I'm extremely good at manipulation if I want to be. I choose not to these days. It's a much better choice. But when I'm in it, holy shit. So it's I spent the next
I love the honesty.
19 years of my life. No, excuse me. 15 years of my life after that, basically mastering the craft of making it so no one can fully know what's going on with me. Or be able to call me out for being a fuck up, or whatever. I'm getting DUIs. That means I need to live closer to the bars. Oh, I'm, whatever it may be. Oh shit,
that is actually fucking smart.
People fuck up their credit and their finances because they're drinking. I'm just not going to touch my credit card. My credit's perfect. What are you talking about? I'm fine. That doesn't matter that I'm trashed and my house is full of fucking garbage. Doesn't matter. I'm fine. My credit card's fine because I don't use it because that would mean that I'm fucking up. So I keep playing these games, and as things get worse and worse, there's more smoke bombs and distractions going on in every direction. And I'm going to tie this into something that you said a minute ago because it's one of my favorite things to talk about. Is I got all this shit going on. Can't have a fucking actual close relationship with, let's say, a woman because then she would find out about all of this craziness.
Heavily.
And not even just that, the games, all the fucking games in every direction. And it's and then she could report back to the public and be like, yeah, actually, that guy's pretty fucked up, I don't think he's doing well. So you can't do anything like that. You can't do anything like that. And then, and what happens is, what I didn't realize is as I'm playing all these games, like for instance, one of my favorite things is there was this one time I was staying with my parents and they went to bed and I started crushing beers and I was crushing them all up and hiding them in my shoes and shit. They would give a fuck that their 32-year-old son was drinking beer. They don't care. I'm hiding from myself at that point. These are the games I'm playing. And once again, another one I could go on for forever, but we don't have time for that. But what I realized at the end was what I didn't see coming was that it was just going to be me versus me in the end anyway. There's no such thing as getting away with anything because I know everything I've done. And like we were talking about before we recorded, it turns out I'm actually just a good guy. I don't like being a piece of shit. So this started bothering me more and more as time went on, and I realized it's just me versus me. And then one of the worst parts of playing this game is where you get deeper and deeper into the manipulation and into the front of my life is fine. And you can't even let your closest friends near you anymore because you start getting or at least I started getting super paranoid. And there was one time I was at work, I started checking under the tables for bugs and shit.
Holy shit.
I don't know what the fuck anybody would be recording me for, but that was the level I was on. I was so paranoid about my little empire of bullshit falling down that I literally thought there was listening devices in the bar I worked at. So we keep moving forward, and next thing you know, Next thing you fucking know is I'm out, and it might look like I'm having a good time, but I'm lonely in a room full of friends, which is the worst shit ever. And people will say, I was never homeless, I was never this and that. And I was like, well, were you ever lonely in a room full of friends? And they say, yes. And I said, well, what's worse than that?
Not much.
Not much. Yeah. I mean, that's about as bad as it gets.
Maybe heartbreak and the law, like grieving. But that feeling alone, bro, that I carried with me for a good 13, 14 years, was horrible, because it was an empty feeling, man. Like, I would be laughing, shooting the shit, feeling like I'm having a great time, but internally, I'm like, man, this is nuts. Like, nobody here is with me, and nobody understands. You know what I'm saying? To the point where, like, I knew I was fucked up. I didn't, kind of like you, bro, manipulating in the social media world, the highlight reel. We could do like a good job for so long, like hiding the reality of what my life was by not getting it on there, until I started making a fool of myself, like in front of people. And then the conversation started. And I was like, well, that, you know, I can't appear perfect on Facebook now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody saw me go to jail in Williamsburg. Like, that shit is up. I just fucked up my homeboy's wedding. Like, they all know. You know what I'm saying? So I too played that game for a really long time. And some of the women I was with would play along too, bro. They would post a picture of us before the shit show started. And I'm like, that was dope at 8 o'clock. By 11, nah, I was in handcuffs. Like,
things have changed.
Yeah, a little bit.
Real quick.
Yeah, real fucking fast, bro. Multiple times for a long time, bro. Well, what a life.
That's the thing, though, is like, even one of the things why I get so stuck on the loneliness in a room full of friends is because, like, with heartbreak, with grief, with anything like that, there's like a cause for it that's very noticeable, and then there's a way to work through it. Like the bullshit of me being lonely in a room full of friends is like, if I don't do something about it forever and there is no conclusion or solution for it outside of like completely changing my life.
That's what I was
and I think that's what bothers me about it, is it's like, and I still have trouble with it, is like, if I have an actual problem, I don't get like the same sort of anxiety or sadness attached to it as when I like make one up in my head,
right,
and just go running with that. And next thing you know, I've completely bottomed out, just losing it.
Say that again for him.
What's that?
That what you just said about, like, when you have an actual problem,
well, okay,
you have a solution, and then when you create one and you're fucking, are you listening, Sean?
Well, it ties into the whole thing I was talking about before, where it's like, you know, I like to just the blanket statements like destined for greatness. So it's like, I have to have something to work on. You give me an actual problem, even if it sucks, it's like I take like a certain level of responsibility for it. I've learned that responsibility is good for me as an addict and an alcoholic, to give me meaning in life, which is what I was looking for anyway. Right. So it's like, even if it sucks, like, there's something to work on. Like, what I had to find out a few years ago is, it's like, they kind of basically broke down this, like, because as I got more sober, the mental health started showing up more, because the drinking kept me over here, but it wasn't anywhere good, but it kept me here. And then, like, you know, had like a full-on fucking breakdown, like 3 years sober, and it was a mess. But like, basically, like, you know, anxiety pops off, which then pushes me down into a depression, and somewhere throughout that,
I start jumping.
I lose grip on reality. Then I found out I had OCD, so then the OCD kicks in, and I'm obsessively trying to fix a problem that's not even a real problem. And the next thing you know, I'm just like way over there, no longer based in reality, and wondering why I can't climb my way out of that, you know? And that's the type of shit that we do, you know, with the recovery stuff. I really do believe what people say is it's only like 10% the substances and 90% just me.
When I got into my line of work, man, I realized very soon that being sober or helping somebody find sobriety is the easy part. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with unpacking the reason that you chose substances is the difficult part, because then that mental health aspect does play. And then you got to talk about traumas. You got to talk about healing. You got to do all of that internal work that, quite frankly, you know what I'm saying? The substances and alcohol helped me kind of remove from myself. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I'll just get fucked up. So once that was removed, bro, sitting and actually having to cry and let some shit hurt without a goddamn a way of escape. You know what I mean? Like, but going through it so many times, it was like, all right, I can do this. So it's showing that space over and over again, even because I too learned about my depression and things. I didn't even know what the fuck anxiety was. You know what I'm saying? Until like one day, bro, my chest started hurting all random, and I was like heavy breathing, and I was like, bro, what is happening with me right now? Like, what is going on? And then I went to my therapist, and she's like, oh, it sounds like you have a bout of anxiety. I'm like, yeah, what?
Yeah, the hell is that?
Yeah, exactly, bro. I had no idea, and then it was all those things that I had to deal with, man. I had to realize why I started, what it made me feel like, and how I was going to pursue the life that Jared wanted, even if nobody told me good job, if nobody showed up for me. It was my turn to live what I felt like on life's terms. You know what I'm saying? And also on the will of my higher power. Like whatever gotta go down, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So you broke down a lot about your life. That shit at VCU, bro, that was funny and also awesome. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be real, I did not know VCU had a hockey team, so thank you.
Yeah, I guess the insurance is too much. The school doesn't want to fully back it because the insurance is expensive as hell. But we went to nationals. We went to nationals that first year. We got stomped up at nationals, but we went, goddammit.
Y'all went up north somewhere. Yeah, the real hockey player.
Michigan. Yeah, we got smoked.
Yeah, we've been playing outside since we was 5, buddy. Like, this shit is up right now.
Shit. But it's all good shit, man. But what you're talking about with the escaping, that's one of the biggest problems I have. And the more and more I do this, the more I realize how much I rely on that, and how much better I've gotten about it. Like one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard, shout out to my therapist again, he told me one day I was going off about whatever the fuck I was going off about. This is a few years ago, earlier in sobriety. I like those guys. They're fun. But he told me, he said, I can't even remember what I was talking about, and he said to me, it must be hard to live in reality when you spend all your time running from it. And I was like,
that's a bar.
God damn.
Yeah, that's a bar.
Like, he's right. He's
35,
fucking right.
35-42.
Acceptance and gratitude, like we were talking about earlier. It's like, if I have to live in reality to accept reality for what it is, and then I have to accept reality for what it is to even move forward in any sort of way, whether I hate it or love it. It's like, no matter what the situation, if I don't accept it for what it is, I won't go anywhere. So when I spent all my time lost in the fucking bottle and then wondered why I couldn't make any moves to make my life any better, it's because none of them are based in fucking reality.
Right. Everything was a blur and nothing was real. You know what I'm saying? Like me, pretty early, my therapist dropped something along the same lines. I was complaining about some newly sober shit, because what do you do when you first get sober? You feel like my world is immediately supposed to be better. You know, or at least I did. You know what I'm saying? I thought right away I was going to have money. I was going to have a house. I was going to have a brand. Like, all of this shit was just supposed to appear, you know? Maybe not really appear, but like, that's in my head. It was like, well, fuck it, man. I don't drink no more. I don't get fucked up. Like, everything is going to be great. It wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I had to dig myself out of a hole. So I think I got to complaining about my situation. Like, I was living with my parents, sleeping on the sofa, had 2 kids, I didn't have no money. Like, I was just trying to manage my thoughts, you know? Like, I spent so long just dismissing them in alcohol and drugs that I didn't know how to be a man, honestly. Like, I had stunted my growth horribly. And then he kind of sat there and he was like, that's cool, let's just complain about all the shit you don't have. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, you got a mansion? I was like, nah. Cool, you got a plane? I was like, no. He's like, you got a Lamborghini? I'm like, all right, bro, I see what you're doing here. Like, I get it. And he was like, stop complaining and just start living. Yep. You know what I'm saying? He's like, get outside. Go be grateful just to be here. Look at the sky. Have you even noticed how blue it is today? I was like, nah, not really. He's like, well, try it. And I was like, all right, gratitude. Like, that's new. And then I started doing that, man. And that shit, to me, changed my life, bro. Because immediately it offered me a way to simplify the way I lived. And I also got into like the growth mindset thinking. Like, my life isn't where I want it to be yet. You know, it's not that it would never get there, because in my addiction, I felt like I could never get there. Like, I would never be able to obtain certain things in life. So he put the word yet on everything. And I was like, bro, that's a good ass way to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, the podcast hasn't officially like popped off yet, because I used to defeat myself. I used to be so negative in my self-talk that I would destroy shit before I got started, because I would beat myself mentally. Like, nah, fuck that. Everybody says it doesn't work. I'm not gonna try it because it's just gonna fucking suck. So fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
all the time, bro. So you went through college. I'm actually fucking highly impressed that you graduated. You are the now second person that I've heard graduated college while being induced with alcohol and did you use other substances?
Yeah, I mean, alcohol is my preference, but I've done a lot of drugs.
Okay.
I love mushrooms. I had a little wild time actually my second year in school where I broke my arm super bad. And I was already prescribed like 60 milligrams of speed every morning because they said I was ADD, but then I was on Dilaudidins and Percocets because of the arm.
They gave you
every morning speedballing. And then I told them I was fucking drinking, and this is like 20 years ago, so this is before now. This is like common knowledge. Sure. They're like, fuck it, keep pumping them full of the Dilaudid. And then they have the fucking nerve after like, I'm just like, hey, you guys are like got me speedballing every morning. Like that might be a problem, and also I drink a lot, smoke a lot of weed, like the fuck. And they're like, nah, it's fine. And then they have the fucking nerve to send me to a goddamn therapist and be like, what's wrong with this kid? And I went to the therapist. I was like, maybe it's the morning speedballs. I don't fucking know. Might have something to do with it. I'm not sure. Oh, so, I've later on, I would do coke when I was out drinking a lot. Whatever. When it comes to other drugs, though, I just really like tripping. Tripping was cool. But then even the other thing is like, I thought I really liked it, but it started like freaking me the fuck out, and I would have to get like really, really drunk before I tripped. And it's like, I don't know, that just doesn't make any sense to me as a sober person. Like, you don't actually enjoy it if you have to be drunk as shit to do it.
None of that shit makes sense now. Like, when I look back at my life, I'm like, bro, that was really dumbass decision. Like, but anyway, I am highly impressed, you know what I'm saying, now that I know the trip and everything else that went along with it, you know what I mean, that you were able to graduate. That is a hell of an accomplishment, and that is awesome. So take us through, you reached the point, like we all got rock bottoms. My joint looks different from his joint looks different from mine. I'm sure that mine probably looks different from yours. At what point did you get to where you were like, all right, maybe it is me?
Well, the weird thing is I always kind of like had like a dream, if you will, of being sober. Mm-hmm. I knew that it couldn't go on forever, but at the same time, that doesn't actually make any sense more than just like another hollow little dream that you have when you're out there fucking up on like a minute-to-minute basis. So
that's a good way to put it.
Like it's just like, one day I'll be sober. I have no idea what that even means. I have no fucking clue. But like, one day I'll be sober. It'll be fun. But I always, shit, man. What is my rock bottom like? Like, that's so hard to answer. It's like, I never really tried to quit drinking until it was like, October of 2017. I was on this crazy, crazy bender. And I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's a lot, like it's a crazy bender. But basically, like a lot of shit happened just in this 1 week. I was all over the place. I was a groomsman in a wedding. I did it all that week. And something happened at the end of that where I was like, damn, last night was fucking nuts. I should probably just chill for tonight. And then all I had to do was like walk into my work to get like my paycheck or whatever, and then it was right back off. And I was like, fuck, like I was supposed to chill last night. That was even crazier than the night before in some ways. How do I keep doing this? Like, how does this keep happening to me? Why can't I just have my shift drink after work and go home instead of like just, I got off at midnight, I'm going to have one beer and go home, and the next thing you know, it's 6 a.m., I'm on the north side with a nose full of fucking Coke, and I'm just like, what the fuck happened, you know?
Yeah, it happens really fast.
Really, really fucking fast, and the next thing you know, you're not going to bed until 11 a.m. or whatever.
Your nose is super stuffy, you're staring at the sky.
Fucked. So I guess like all of this starts stacking up, long story short, and I decide like I'm gonna take a couple weeks off, and I've never done that before. And I take a couple weeks off,
for partying,
off of partying, and everything was going great. I enjoyed it, and I remember I was watching a movie, and I was liking the movie, like no problem. And I just like got up off my couch and walked over to Banditos and got fucking smashed by myself. Like out of nowhere.
Banditos was the shit,
I had
though,
no plans of doing that, though. And then I was like, that was concerning, but at least I'm drinking again, so that's good, you know? Then for the next, like, few months, like, I was drinking a whole lot, but, like, nothing was really, like, actually happening. Like, way crazier things happened to me before. This next few months, from what I remember, it's all kind of blurry, but it's like not a whole lot actually happened. And then like all of a sudden I just like emotionally just couldn't fucking handle it anymore. Then I like ran my car into a pole when I was like moving at one parking space, and like, you know, I'm fucking hammered drunk outside of my job and the cops are there just looking at me like, what is even happening right now? You know what I mean? Like just shit like that. Like
Sir,
a lot of weird
asking me to arrest you. Like, what?
They didn't like, I remember the look on it, on the dude's face where he's just like, what the fuck? You know, like, didn't even know what to do with me.
Yeah, when a cop looks at you like that.
I'm just, like, stumbling around outside of my job, and the alarm's going off.
Oh, shit.
And, like, and just, like, what the fuck is this shit? And I was just like, oh, I work here. And he's like, do you want to turn the alarm off? I'm like, I think I can do that. And I, like, go do it. And then that same thing happened 2 nights later. And just weird shit.
Yeah.
Like, and like I said, that's not even that is nowhere close to the craziest thing I've been a part of. But for some reason, I was like, this is all just getting so exhausting. And like, I just don't like this feeling anymore. I used to be able to laugh something like that off. Like, oh, it was just some funny drunk shit.
You wake up the next day, you tell the story, yo, like, look what happened last night. And then eventually like, that story is so fucking old, man.
Yeah, it just, and thankfully it wasn't crazier. But like I had been having a lot of just like really, really serious, like circular thinking, a lot of paranoia, a lot of just rock bottom misery, that loneliness we were talking about that just doesn't even make any sense. You know, like nothing in my brain made sense anymore. Nothing made sense when I was drunk. Nothing made sense when I was sober. I would have a few drinks. I might be all right. And then I would just start talking about like, you know, how I'm going to die. Am I going to die? I think I'm going to die.
Damn it.
What do you guys think? Do you think I'm going to die? I think I hate my dad. Do I hate my dad? I think I hate my dad, and that I'm gonna die. You know, like what the fuck are we doing,
bro? I'm just trying to watch football. Like, what are you doing
exactly.
here?
So all of a sudden, like I said, I was a fun guy to drink with for a long time, and I had a lot of good years drinking a lot of wild shit that would be that would be more concerning than me getting lucky enough to not get arrested in like that situation. You know what I mean? It's not even that crazy of a story, but for some reason it just bothered the fuck out of me. And like,
man, it's pretty bothersome, bro.
Yeah, but after years of just crazy shit, for some reason I was just over it. And I think that was one of the
like
things.
A pivotal point.
It's just like seeing the dude.
The cop,
not
like,
even it doesn't even matter that he was a fucking cop at that, but just someone looking at me like that, just so confused.
Yeah, like, bro, go home.
You need to. What is wrong with you? You know, and it was just like something about it just made me feel like shit. And actually, Black Liquid put some clarity on this. Yeah, I hate to say it, but yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
But fucking, he actually called him like. I think it was like the last day of my drinking, just like, is it worth it? And he was like, yeah, it's worth it, dude. Just do it. And I was like, if you say so, let's do it. But one of the things that he told me, we were actually out on the road, like I was like 3 months sober, and I was talking to him about early sobriety shit, and he just kept being like, be yourself, man. Be yourself. And I just kept being like, why the fuck does this guy keep saying that?
Wait, time out. I'm going to let you finish. I'm with Kanye on. I'm going to let you finish in a minute. Black Leg 2 hit you with a one-liner that had you thinking like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, so when I met Black Liquid, bro, he used to plug me in. Like, he probably still is the key to the city when it came to like hip-hop, like everything hip-hop, right? I asked him for advice one night, right? Like, we were just talking, chopping it up kind of like this. I was like, hey, bro, I don't remember the exact words, but it was advice. So normally when you ask someone for advice, they come with this spiel of shit like, yo, do this, right? And that's what I was expecting. So I'm like, yo, Black, how do I do da-da-da-da? He's like, yo, consistency is key. And I looked at him, and I was like, all right, bro, cool. Bro, for years, I'm not shitting you, 4 years, like, I said, what the fuck does he mean? Like, consistency. Bro, I got sober. I started doing, like, repetitious shit. Like, stuff started to work. And out of the blue, it slapped me. Like, oh, shit, that's what he meant.
Yeah.
Just keep going. I was like, bro, I called him. I was like, bro, I finally understand. He's like, what you talking about, Pac? Because I went by Pac-Man. I was like, yo, you told me mad long ago consistency was key. He's like, I don't remember, but good. Like, and that was it, bro. But it was dope.
No, it was almost the exact same story, just with a different one-liner. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Salute the black liquor.
Yeah, no. But he kept saying it to me, and you know, like coming from the world we're in, it's like, you know, it's like that we were talking about before we went live, like almost like the fakeness of the authenticity. I got to show how tough I am because that's how fucking real I am, or whatever. But really, it's all fucking bullshit. Yeah. So it really fucking bothered me when he's saying just be yourself. I'm like, always myself.
Yeah.
What he I have no idea who I am, mind you. I have no idea,
right
no fucking clue who I am at this point. And he just keeps telling me, just be yourself. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But I'm not saying anything to him because we're like in the car, Repton's in the back sleeping or whatever. And like, I think Skrilla was with us, whatever. And
oh shit, man.
And but it stuck with me, like you were saying. And I want to say, a few months later, I went up to his radio show and I was like, hey, I got to ask you, like, when you kept saying be yourself to me in the fucking car, you were basically telling me that, like, like where, you know, my soul was, let's say, was not at all in line with where I was physically, and I needed to, like, combine that. And he was like, yeah, man. And I was just like, you know how he does that shit. But that was what I realized is like, and it's true with the story I just told about the rock bottom. Like, I used to just be able to laugh about the stupid shit I would do. I used to just laugh about, like, oh damn, like that could have been even crazier. Like, yo, let's ramp it up tonight, guys. Yeah. You know, whatever. And all of a sudden, it's like that's just not me anymore.
That's just not funny.
But it's hard to accept that. It's hard to understand that something I considered to be so fun for so long, especially wasn't okay with me. Yeah. I'm not okay with myself. That's why all of this is happening. It's self-hate. I hate myself, and that's something that's really hard to come to understand, bro. It's super fucking hard. Yeah. But that's why, you know, in the program that I do, steps 6 and 7 have to do with character defects, and one of the things that I loved about this is that everybody always. Not everybody, but there's people who would say, oh, that's just like a filler step. It doesn't actually do anything. And then I realized this is supposed to be practiced on a minute-to-minute basis. I became basically, through the step work, I became familiar with the things I hated about myself and things that I did that I thought were unfair to others or whatever it might fucking be. Whatever. Anything that I don't like about myself. So I wrote these fucking things down. And now I know what they are. And I'm not, like, trying to run from them. I'm not pushing them away. I now have them written down in a list, and now they're at the front of my mind. So now as I start, doing one of these things, and like I said, I'm doing this at this very moment. I'm aware of this process. I'm not having to correct anything right now, but I'm aware of it. Is earlier on, I'd be like, oh, I can feel myself about to do that thing I hate. Don't do it. Oh, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then maybe the next time I did it again. And then it was like, actually, you know, we really felt like an asshole the last time we did this. Let's not do this time. Yeah. Okay, this time I'm actually going to stop myself. And what happened was, as I started correcting these things I hated about myself, I started to like myself a little more. Surprise. And like,
voila. And that's how it works.
What was cool was it was like, after years and years and years of absolutely hating myself, I was able to just be like, you're not that bad a guy. And also having the realization, why do I hate myself? Why do I hate myself so much? Why do I hate myself? And they're just drinking it away. Why do I hate myself? Well, it's because you spend your entire day doing shit that you hate. Right. So that's why.
Who would have thought?
This is not fucking complicated, but it was. You know what I'm saying? Like, it took me a long time to figure that out. And one of the cool things about doing this also, as you take it a step further, is it's like through that I was also able to be open about, not only accept it, but be open about the fact that I'm not perfect. I'm far from perfect. I'm all fucked up. Yeah. I go to AA like 5 times a week or whatever the hell I'm doing right now. You know, like, I got problems, man. I got a therapist. Fucking whatever.
Now,
whatever.
That's authenticity, bro.
But here's the thing.
And that's cool.
I don't have to feel bad about that today because I can honestly say that I try. Right. And I'm open to learn. And all of these simple fucking things, nothing I'm saying right now. Like, sometimes I feel like when I'm talking like this, like a normal person would be like, yeah, no shit. Yeah. But for people like us, it's not that simple.
Means a lot,
it means a whole lot. So it's like, but that's one of the nicest things is today I can accept the fact I'm not perfect and be okay with that. And then also if I fuck up because of that, I'm open to learning how to be better. So, hey, man, you know, like maybe you shouldn't do that. And I'd be like, you know what? You got a fucking point. I never thought of it like that. Okay.
Bro, so you two have self-dialogue.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool. Or I'm saying even if somebody says that to me, like, hey, man, you know, whatever. Like, I didn't like that you said that about whatever it may be. And I'm like, oh, shit, I never thought about it like that. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, and then that allows me to become a better and better person, interact with people better, everything. And it's just like, it's really fucking nice. After a life of recovery, escaping and trying to drink everything away, it's nice to be able to just face things head on and just actually try to be a better person.
That's dope, man. 1% better every day is my cue. And then, and it's amazing how some people that I fuck with give me those one-liners about life. I got this other old head that I used to work with, man. His name was Leon. I would ask him for advice, and old heads, man, they super simple with their shit. Like 1 + 1 = 2, champ, and like nothing, bro. So I say that shit to my kids because I'm like, hey, bro, if 1 + 1 don't equal 2, you probably shouldn't do it. Like, and that, bro, I live my life. I tell him, hey, man, 1 + 1, bro. Like, it's not gonna equal 3. It's not gonna equal 5. If it don't equal 2. The shit don't add up, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I love to keep it simple in my recovery, man, and carrying those things on and learning about myself because it was a lengthy process. And you know what's so dope about it, man? And I'm listening to you speak because all of it makes perfect sense to me, man. The way you articulate it sounds fucking amazing. By the way, like you could tell, bro, like you have immersed yourself in all things of self-improvement. You dig? Shit, I forgot my train of thought because I just had to congratulate you because the shit sounded sick. Well, fuck it, man. I don't know what I'm going to say. If it pops back, then I'll bring it. But as we wrap this up, got 2 more questions for you.
All right, what you got?
Somebody pops in there right now. They're like, yo, help me. And without being given the black liquid one-liner, what do you think you could... Damn, frog. What do you think you could say to maybe inspire somebody? Like pulling from your past, your experiences, things like, hey, man, this is how I feel about it. Maybe not like advice, but what, you know what I'm saying? What odes of encouragement did you get?
Normally I'd try to get a little piece of what they're going through and then try to share an honest experience. That's it. Like, it's like you were saying, it's simple. Like if somebody comes in here losing their shit, and I can relate, then the best thing you can do at that moment is relate to them. Even if that means that you have to look like an asshole for a second to admit, like, hey, I've done that
bro,
too.
I've been there.
Hate to say it, I did that. Yeah. Whatever it may be. Like, I've done some stupid shit too, man. But I'm doing better now. Right. And you can do better too. And that's the type of thing
that's real.
That I like, because that's the whole point. Like if we were all running around the recovery world trying to pretend that we've never fucked up, then no one would ever get better.
Yeah, that would be dumb as shit.
Yeah.
Because we'd all be lying.
We'd all be lying. Yeah, we wouldn't get better. They wouldn't get better. No one would get better.
Just like,
and it would defeat the whole purpose. So that's really it.
What's the point?
That's really it. It's like, and also another thing is like maybe when we've got some time like you and I do, we're able to carry ourselves a certain way that doesn't really necessarily place us in the world of active addiction anymore. And I think sometimes people who are new. And see us a little better put together, forget that we've been there, and you have to kind of show them, like, yo, I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, but I keep that piece on the forefront, though. Like, I let people know no matter how long my time stands, man, I'm shooting at 9.5 years now. God willing, I have 10 in August. But I know that, like we were talking about before, bro, I know that it's there.
Hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever get lost in that day count because I know the mind of an addict, man. It's one move the wrong way, and I'm back at it like, oh, shit, how did I get here? You know what I'm saying? So I try to be so self-aware in my feelings, my mood, and keep those thoughts at bay, knock on wood. Like, I told you before, and like, I have not as of yet really had those triggering thoughts like, man, let me just escape from this. You know what I'm saying? But I know that it could happen. So I try to stay present, and that's how I do let people know, like, man, it's still one day at a time.
Yep.
Like, I'm not out here boasting, oh, look at me. Nah, fuck that. Like, it's one day at a time. I'm still here with you.
Yep.
You feel me? I meet people where they are because I'm in the trenches. I like to go to that space. It keeps me reminding me, yo, I've been there, and you could pull yourself out too. So that's dope.
Well, that's the thing is once you start talking honestly about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, he knows what he's talking about." It takes about 3 seconds,
bro.
But once you once you flip it on them, you gotta just be like, "Look, I get it."
Telling you, that shit, man, saved my life, bro. My therapist, I got so lucky. He had 40 years in recovery, and he was the first person I shit you not. I was 3 days sober. He was the first person I ever felt like understood me. That feeling of being alone in a room full of people, bro, he got it. And I remember sitting in his office looking ashamed because I just got out of the hospital. I met this dude like the week before, and I talked to him. I was like, man, I got a problem. I'm drinking, da-da-da. And he's like, oh, man, you can stop. You know, we'll check in next week. And that was a Thursday. That was a Wednesday. That Wednesday, and I was like, all right, cool. So that Wednesday night, I didn't drink. That Thursday, though, it was up. Like, I went out, man, got so drunk. Then, on to that night, I tried to, take my own life. And that was my rock bottom, you know what I'm saying? But in the hospital, I had, like, my God shot moment where it hit me like, hey, this is your second chance at life. Do what you got to do. So I got to unplug from everything for 3 days. You know what I'm saying? I walked into this dude's office Monday. I got out Monday. I just went to sleep. Tuesday, I had to go for an appointment, and he was like, how was your weekend? What's happening? And I was like, you want me to be honest? He was like, yeah. I was like, not good. I drank when I left, and tried to take myself out, and now I'm here talking to you. I was in the hospital, and he was like, it's okay, man, I get it. And bro, like, all the shame, all the guilt, all the worry, like, all of those disgusting feelings inside started to disappear. And I looked up, and I was like, man, you do? I was like, yeah, like, shit, I got 40 years sober, man. I've done all of that shit. I grew up in the 80s, like, grown man in the 80s shit. And I was like, oh, shit. And my pops told me the same thing the other day, bro. I'm talking to him, like, apologizing and shit because we in that type of space right now. I'm like, hey, Dad, like, I'm so sorry for how I acted. I realize now, it's just like, man, I grew up in Miami in the 80s, son. You weren't doing shit. But it was a good laughing moment, man. The spotlight back off me, bro, back on you. I know you got your music and shit popping. I see the moves that you're making. That shit is sweet. Anything you got in position right now that you want to share, or what's up?
Me and Profound 79's album Young Blood dropped a few months ago. Okay. We got a few music videos. Actually, there's a hockey music video. Check that out. It's called Empty Benches.
Empty Benches.
Skrilla's on there. Dave Fruh, Squeaky Waterfalls featured on there. Then I got a bunch of stuff on all the streaming sites. If you check me out, Johnny Siggs, JohnnyCiggs. Check it out, grittycityrecords.com.
Grittycityrecords.com.
We got the Grace Street EP coming around the corner.
Okay.
We got me and Star Nice got an EP.
You got a lot of shit.
Me and Toby Blunt's got a couple songs coming out on cassette. We got my band's opening up for a Avail at Browns Island on the 29th of July.
If you in the RVA,
Let's
29th
go.
of July, Browns Island.
It's going to be nuts.
Yo,
and
then,
shit. I think that's it. I don't know. We got a lot going on.
Either way, check the website, grittycityrecords.com.
Yeah, check out the website. At Big Johnny Siggs on Instagram. And I just signed up for TikTok. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, you is on
Or maybe it'll be terrible. I don't know.
Bro, we old, son. That shit, we out the way, man.
We'll figure it out.
The youngins got that, bro, on lock,
We'll
man.
see what happens.
Well, my dog, Jono, bro, I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, man. I appreciate you blessing us with your story of strength and hope. You feel me?
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, until
it's
next
been fun.
time. Hey, man, that shit was dope. We're going to have to do this again soon, bro. So until next time, my dog.
Hell yeah.
That shit was live.
That shit was
live.
Man.